Welcome, everybody. My name is Mina Jane. I'm the director of the Ashland Public Library, and I'm here with one of my favorite speakers, Jody Blanchette at Red Red Reviews or Red Read Reviews,
Whatever you want it to be.
talking about horror and thriller. And I have to say, I've been reading some sickly sweet books lately, so I am looking forward to some guts and gore. So I know. Well, on the light side, of course. Um, but before we start, I just want to say thanks to the Friends of the Ashland Public Library for supporting all of our programs and to Jody for letting us share this program with other libraries. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat or the Q&A. Jody's going to go through maybe like 6 or 8 books and we will talk about them. And we always appreciate attendee engagement. So feel free to tell us what you're reading and loving and, commenting on all the guts and gore that we're about to start. Jody, nice to see you.
It's good to see you as well. I want to start off with YA. I am a huge YA reader. I think that young adult, for those that don't know the abbreviation, has come such a long way from when I was a teenager. I mean, I started reading R.L. Stine when I was like 12, and I consider YA like 12 and 13. I think it branches out into a little bit later in teens, but for me, I don't know. It's like what? Do you know the age range for YA?
I think the YA is like 14 to 19 kind of thing.
Oh yeah, because some of the stuff is getting pretty rough now. But when
Yeah.
I was reading it when I was 11, so I guess I'm different. So anyway, so I love YA horror because it's come a long way, and there's so many more YA writers out there now for the genre, and I just want to like absorb all of them.
Mhm.
And the one that I want to talk about today is Rory Power. You had her at your last event. I met her for the first time there. Her last book was Wilder Girls, which I have but have not read, and I heard that was really good. It was like Lord of the Flies on crack.
Mhm.
Um,
Description, yes.
so this one, I think it came out this week or last week. It's called Kill Creatures, and this one's about it's about a bunch of teenage girls who are all like hanging out over the summer and like doing summery things, and one of the girls is kind of like the outcast of the group and really wants to be a part of it, and they're kind of like not inviting her in, but they are inviting her in, giving her mixed emotions, and so they all go on this like sketchy trip to this island cave thing, and only one girl comes back. So what happened, right? Like
This is
one girl comes back.
what was that book that you talked about? Was it last time about this airplane went up and it came down and everybody was gone off of it or something like that? No, was that not you? Oh, forget it.
Maybe not me, but I mean, the only airplane books I've read have been TJ Newman,
Hmm.
which her books are pretty traumatic.
Okay, I don't
So you would like them.
know. Just
So,
a bit.
anyways,
Yeah, this one is
so one girl comes back and the rest aren't there, and then they find another girl like a year later that was part of the group,
mhm.
and then just becomes this whole what happened thing. Unreliable narrator. Not really. I think it's classified as horror, but it's not super horror-y. There's like a little bit of blood. Murder mystery type thing. A lot of teen anxiety. I think
Mhm.
this is something I would have really enjoyed as a 15, 16-year-old book. It's really, really well written for that age range.
Mhm.
Quick read, got it done in like an hour and a half, flew through it. Yeah, it's like popcorn thriller. You just can't stop. You keep going. Really like that one for a while. So,
Jay, we've talked about this before, is what we've talked about why adults like horror and what, it's cathartic, it's, um there's all kinds of, interesting reasons why people read horror, but why do kids read horror? Doesn't it seem so like, I mean, kids are more likely to have that fear of the monster under the rug. So why would they put themselves in that position?
So I know when I was younger, it was Goosebumps that brought the horror to the younger generation. And that's what got my generation reading horror at a very young age. Now there's no Goosebumps, but it seems like from what I'm understanding at my library, there were kids middle grade age asking for horror, which is great because Paul Tremblay has a middle grade horror book coming out. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really excited for it. And we're going to get it at the library because like you've got these little tiny kids are coming in and they're asking for horror. So we have to like, you got to tiptoe around what you can and can't give them. I think they want to be scared. I think they like scary stories around the campfire that they have control over. Like they can sit there and read it, stop when they need a break, and then go back to it when they're ready. Whereas at a campfire, that person's going to keep going until someone creeps up behind you and scares the crap out of you and makes you pee your pants. The kids, they can want that scare, but they want control over it. And I think that's why they're going for the books.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's probably true. And I also think that just like adults, their lives can be difficult and reading horror can be, like you said, a control thing, you
Yep.
can put it down, but you also know that like if you have that it's not real.
Right. And I think in middle grade, they always have to have a happy ending. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure what in middle grade horror, they have to have a happy ending. So they know something good's going to happen. There's going to be a good outcome, even if they have to go through all this turmoil to get there. But I'm just glad that it's picking up in the younger generations because right now, like everybody's saying, horror is having a moment, and seeing it filter into the younger generations means it's going to be around a lot longer than I had thought it would be. Beyond Stephen King, we have there's like 100 new. Every week I'm seeing a new horror writer come out, which is amazing.
So I was going to say that I think that what you said about the happy ending kind of makes sense to me because almost all of the horror books that I've read for kids, the kids are the main protagonist kind of thing. Like they're the ones that save the world. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, at least for the middle grade ages. When you get into like the teen area, they can have that the worst ending, but it's never really like, it's more like an emotional journey horror ending, not like let's kill off our whole family and they'll have the bodies. That happens with my age. Not so much in YA.
Thank you for answering my questions.
So my next book, we're going to go with a thriller, is Julie Clark, The Ghostwriter. And I believe, I don't know what the other book, I think it was The Lies They Told Me or something, was her last book, and it was very good. The Lies I Tell. And she wrote The Last Flight as well. I read both of those and really liked those, so I wanted to read this one. And this is about a woman who is a ghostwriter, and she gets asked to ghostwrite, it's not really a memoir, but it becomes a memoir for this really well-known horror writer. It turns out it's her father, but she estranged herself from him years and years and years ago. And so now like the publisher have no clue that she's got a connection to this guy, and she's got to go to his house and write the story with him. And so she's reconnecting with her estranged father, and it becomes this really dark and twisty story. He starts revealing things about a murder that happened in his family when he was a teen and his involvement. And he's also has like borderline dementia. So like he's giving this information in fits and spurts. So she doesn't know what's real and what's not real. So she goes on this own journey to figure out the truth on her own. And it's a really sad story, but it's really thrilling in the same breath because she's like, she's just an author. She's not an investigator, and she's going and finding all these details on her own. And her dad's in the background saying, don't do it. But secretly he's like, I want you to do it, but don't do it. So she figures out, her father's past, and it's just really good, but heartbreaking because you're seeing his decline, and she's a part of that now when she hasn't seen him for so many years. And this is, her re-involvement with him is like uneven. So I really liked it. It was very good. And this was another quick read. Really couldn't put it down. The writing was phenomenal. I suggest this one if you want a good quick thriller.
Okay. All right. Did she know he was her father when she agreed to be the ghostwriter? Okay.
Yeah, but the publisher didn't know, and like that sent her the requests because they had asked for her specifically to write the memoir. And they're like, we don't know why he wants you specifically. Obviously, he knew why and she knew why, but they weren't telling anybody because that could have kind of like screwed up the whole story, the memoir that they were writing, because then she'd have a personal edge. But turns out the personal edge is always good because they're probably going to sell more books. And anyways, there's a lot going on in that book.
Sounds like it.
So I've been reading a lot of thick books. I don't know how this happened. I like quick books. I like books that I can read like in 2 hours, or give me a day to read it. And I've been getting sucked into these monstrous books. Did I talk about King Sorrow last time?
I don't think so.
It wasn't on my list, but I don't know if I. So this mammoth bad boy is coming out in like, I don't know, like October. And I normally don't pre-read super far ahead, but I had a weekend where the doctor told me I wasn't allowed to like not, I was allowed, I couldn't move. I did something to my knee and he didn't want me moving around. So I'm like, oh, I'm on bed rest. I can't clean the house. Oh, I can't cook. So what should I do? So I decided to pick the biggest book I had. I mean, look at that. If you put my hand up to it, like that's it's thick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been looking at it and I'm like, when am I going to have the time to read this? You know, I get super intimidated by books. I don't know if you get that way. I look at a giant book and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to read this. It's going to be a long book. When I read it when I was a teenager, that took me like a month to read it. This is, I think it's the same size as it. And this took me 2 days.
Well, you couldn't do anything else.
I couldn't do anything.
You had
So I had like designated time to read this. That's why I did it when I did, because between now and October, it's never going to happen again. So I think, this is my new favorite Joe Hill book.
Oh, wow.
And his, you know, every single one of it, I've loved every one of his books. Nosferatu is one of my favorite books. And he just keeps getting better and better. He decides to take on a dragon in this book. And I went to a reading he did last year when he was talking about the book. And he had mentioned that his wife was like, why don't you write a story about a dragon? He's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll write a story about a dragon. This is like a demon dragon. So it's a really, okay, so the story is about five friends that summon a dragon. And the dragon you have to give it a human sacrifice every year. And it like gives some prizes and takes care of things for you and protects you. So like these 5 college kids, you know, they're all decide they're going to like get rid of bad people with the dragon. Like, why not use it for good? Right. And every year it's the same thing. And it's not just the 5 years. It continues after the 5 years. It just recycles, starts over and over again. So they have this demon dragon that's a part of their life. And, you know, it's taking a toll on them. And towards the end, they got to figure out how to get this out of their lives, because they really don't want to kill these people, even though they're bad. But in the same breath, they want to kill people because they're bad. And it I don't know when it takes place, but 9/11 is mentioned in here. You know, they wanted to use him to get back for that. And there's just a whole bunch of, I don't know, it was just so well freaking written. It was so good. It's like a journey. It's not fantasy. So there's no like, well, there is a sword, but they don't use it for like the dragon. So it's not fantasy. It was really good.
But what was the point?
Well, the point, so this is the thing. Like it's the point is about the dragon. The dragon, it's the dragon. And the whole point is like, you go ahead. There's the five college people, they're best friends, and like their friendship kind of dwindles in between the years, because it takes place over a long period of time. And the dragon doesn't go unseen. People see it, so it becomes part of like a media thing, and the friends kind of like start like attacking each other, and it's what real friendships. And it's really hard to explain what it's about. It's really just about the damn dragon. And he's a demon dragon, and he's mean. And I really wish like the audiobook was out, because I really want to hear what voice they're going to use for that. I got like a Hosh Smog kind of voice going on in my head when he was talking. But I'd be interested to hear what the audiobook does with it. It was good. It was really good.
Okay. I will take your word for it. So for people that don't know, which it would be surprising to me, is Joe Hill is Stephen King's son.
Yeah.
And yeah, so on occasion, I think you were there. when Joe Hill was at a talk and his dad showed up just to kind of hang out.
Yeah, yeah, that was the one I was talking about. So he did a reading from this when he first wrote the book and it wasn't published yet. He did a reading and Stephen King was there just to support him, and he was like sitting like 3 seats over from me, and I was like, I got some like on the slide pictures of him. I didn't want to be that person that was all in his face, but I was like just happy to be breathing in the same area as him. So it was very cool. But like they were kind of like talking back and forth about how they come up with these books, and because Stephen King wrote a dragon book too. It was Dragon's Eyes, Through Dragon's Eyes, Dragon's Tears. The cover's green and scaly. I remember touching it when I was a kid. That one was really, I remember reading that. That was a lot thinner too. That was like a smaller book. This book is mammoth, but he really does a lot of character development and setting, and like there's history in this. Like he packs it in. No wonder he hasn't put out a book in like 10 years. He's been spending all his time writing this thing.
But it's good, so it's worth
It's very good. It's going to be my top 3, I think, for the year. It just was like an epic journey. So another one,
like 20 top threes. I don't know how you do it.
well, I have like I kind of think I had my top 3 figured out. I do like a top 10. It's when I get after the 3 that I'm like trying to figure out who goes where, because I pretty much know who's going to be in the first 3. So the next book, I'm going to review it tomorrow, but I got to talk about it tonight because I just finished it today. And I think it's fantasy.
You don't read fantasy.
I don't, but the publisher pitched it as horror. It's like, yeah, there's blood and guts and gore in it, like body parts and intestines coming out. So I guess it's horror. Dude, it's fantasy. It's like fantasy horror. I'm pretty sure that's like another like subgenre, like a combo. Like, I think I like it. I'm not converted. I'm not going to start reading like fantasy. That's not my jazz. But The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Okay, right? Look at this. This is another Mammoth book. I actually listened to this on audio because it was 25 hours long. And I'm like, well, this will kill a whole work week. So I put it on. The narrator does like 10 voices that sound completely different. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, he's where it's at. He can do creepy voices. He can do female voices. He does a voice of this like elf that was like really pretty. Like, what's up with that? He's got like multiple personalities. So this one, it's called The Devils. And it's about this group of like, I kind of want to pitch it like a vampire, a pirate, an elf.
Walk into a bar.
What? Yeah. Yeah, but there's like more to the group than that. There's a werewolf in the group. Like, how do you say that? Like, there's like 10 people in this group that are in this party, and they are on a crusade to get this girl who they discovered as a princess to like Troy, where she's got to reign and like do her empress thing. So they go from the holy city where they all were being kept. They were all the devils were like prisoners in the holy city, and I guess, what is that Marvel movie? Was it Marvel? The Suicide, what is it? The Suicide, I can't remember. But it's like that, where it's a bunch of like the misfits that they're putting together because if they die, it's not the end of the world, to bring the princess to Troy. And it's the princess is a character, but she's not the story. The story really is like, it's not fantasy though. Don't say it's fantasy.
Thank you,
so like the vampire he's like a Casanova kind of vampire-y kind of dude, and then you have this elf. There's an elf who can like disappear and not be seen, and she's pretty stealthy, and like I'm getting like this whole like Zelda magical vibe from her. And then there's the pirate who's like done everything there is to do, and it's a girl and she's like badass. The werewolf is actually a woman, and she's this Viking potty mouth thing that wants to fornicate with everything, and she kills and she slaughters, and she's like who you need to have on your side. She's like their backup weapon. And they have a knight. Well, he's not really a knight. I think he was like a general in an army, but he has a sword, so I'm calling him a knight. So they got like this whole group of like insane. Each character has their own story, and they get like their own moments in the story, and like there's epic battles. I'm not into fantasy. I'm not pitching this as fantasy, but there's epic battles with swords and like, oh my God, beheading and like sorcerers and throwing flames and nuking people. and there's like a boat ride and the ship sinks. Like it's all sorts of like, it's like Lord of the Rings. And it was like Lord of the Rings. Really, that's what it was. It's so fantasy. But there's so much death and body count and like heads flying and it's really gruesome, but it's also very funny. Like I found the book, I laughed. I'm listening to it while I'm working and I find myself chuckling at some stupid things that these people are saying and doing because they all banter with each other. And I'm like laughing and my boss is like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, it was good. It was good. The princess gets the Troy, but shit hits the fan after that.
Well, Danielle says it sounds like D&D, and I agree. Like not the campaign. She says campaign, but I think the movie where everybody had their moment and they all had their skills and stuff like that. And it was kind of dark, but it didn't have a lot of guts and gore and stuff.
The whole time I was listening to this, I was thinking, not Dungeons and Dragons. I was thinking like video game. This would make an epic video game, especially with technology now. They could really do like the blood and gore and like because when the werewolf tears off somebody's head, you've got like seriously the things they can do with CGI and stuff now. It's an epic tale, and I think I went on Goodreads. I think this is the first book of like a couple of them. I'm really hoping there's going to be more because I'd like to see these characters again. Again, I don't really care so much about the princess. It's the devils. It's just really good because they're really evil and they don't really want to be, but they are. And it's just, God, I don't know what I'm thinking. It was 25 hours. It's a giant book. The publisher sent it to me. They're like, they know me better than me, which is not a good thing.
So Denise says it is the first in a series. And I was going to say, in terms of video game, that Kat Scully's book, Below the Grand Hotel, she wrote it as like in her head, it was a video game. So I think she's going to adapt it.
Oh, that would be cool. I haven't read that one yet. That is on my list. I have like a list of local writers that I want to read. That is on my list. The cover for that book, I know she did her launch party was like Gatsby golds and shit. Oh, I love that. All right. So the next book, I'm not going to tell you about that one yet because you're all going to make fun of me. I'm going to go into The Lamb by Lucy Rose. Look at that cover. What do you think it's about, Nina?
The lamb chop.
It's about cannibalism.
Oh, okay. You went there.
I've always, if it's not a cult, it's cannibalism. It's like, oh, cannibalism's in this book. I'll buy that. So this one actually, it was a pretty, okay, so there's some, obviously it's cannibalism, so there's some gross parts and there's some really heavy body gore parts that were really well written to the point where I was like, ew. And for me to say ew means that she's really good at description. So she gets points for that. But it's actually a story between a mother and a daughter. They are living on their own in the woods and they're surviving off of the land, meaning that random hikers that walk into their area, they pick off and they eat them. That's living off the lamb. The lamb. The land. But, the daughter doesn't necessarily want this lifestyle. She can still go to school, so she has access to the outside world. She eats what's put in front of her, but she doesn't really want this. And the mother is very much into eating people. And I've heard cannibalism takes over your brain a little bit, right? Like when you're eating humans, it's a different kind of meat and affects your brain. So I think the mother kind of has that going on. So then this visitor hiker, they welcome her into their house and they decide not to eat her. And she becomes a part of their family. So she like becomes a cannibal. I don't know how you just happen upon a house and decide you're going to live with them and then become a cannibal. Like, okay, obviously something's wrong with her. And then it becomes a story. It becomes about the mother and daughter's relationship with an outsider brought into the picture and how it's affecting the daughter and how the daughter is kind of getting pushed away. And the mother's like, I never really wanted you. It's really a sad, sad story. It's just, it's heartbreaking. And cannibalism is like, yeah, it's in every chapter, but it's not really the story. It's about the mother and the daughter. It's really sad. So it was really well written.
The one person they decide to bring into their family, of all these people that they've cannibalized, that person is okay with being a cannibal.
Right. Right. So there was something about her that clicked with them. Yeah. And they kind of like introduced her to lifestyle because obviously there's no supermarket around. So they're like how are you eating? And she becomes really a part of the lifestyle and just kind of like pushing the daughter out of the favorite spot,
Mm.
which
Well,
is
she
not cool.
was in the mother's life,
Yeah.
so all the focus was on her.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, those family dynamics sound really interesting. I mean, I can do like the cannibalism. I'm not really sure what the point of that was, but
I think maybe it's just there for the gory factor. I mean, they eat the people to survive. It's the murdery aspect. Maybe it's just the wow factor of it being in there because it really wasn't the story. It was the mother and the daughter. That was the story. It was really sad. It was a lot like that other book that I did last year where This Is Where I End or Where I End. Which was the same thing. It's a mother-daughter relationship that was just like really, really, really sad, really wrong and dark,
Mhm.
really sad.
Yeah. I think you have time for one or maybe two more.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you it's not fantasy. I think it's called I know, seriously, don't go thinking this is a trend. I think it's called I think this classifies as cosmic horror, which is like outer space horror, but it's on Earth and it's aliens. So I think it's cosmic horror. Okay. This is Overgrowth by Mira Grant.
Mhm.
Um, so aliens deposit pods onto Earth, and these pods eat humans that walk by them and then regurgitate them back out as the same person that they ate, but with the aliens' mind. So they're kind of like scouts at that point. They have to live amongst civilization with the people and fit in. You can't, they're very open, telling everybody that they're an alien and that the end is coming and that the mothership's coming to at some point. These people are being perceived as humans. Okay, so they're like, okay, you're crazy. You think you're an alien, you're crazy. They're like, no, I am an alien. I've been telling you all along. Well, cue to like this happens with this one little girl when she was 3, and then cue to like when she's in her late 20s, and their aliens make contact through uh, electronics, pretty much saying that they're about to invade. Right?
Mhm.
She, the main character, has been living as a human, but she's not a human. She knew this was coming. She's like, oh my God, this is so awesome. I'm going to get to see where I come from. And it turns out of course, she's not the only one. There's other aliens and they all kind of finding each other. It becomes a story about acceptance and kindness because the aliens never really wanted to invade to eat and kill everything. They really wanted to harmonize and become one,
Hmm.
but the way that Earth is taking it as an invasion, and we have to stop you and we have to kill you. So when they hear this invasion's happening, that they have these pod people living in, they start rounding up all of the pod people and bringing them to like a facility, keeping them captured, taking blood and testing them. It's very, it's a political book. It's definitely a political book. Very, very relevant to what's going on right now with ICE and immigrants. And there's transgender people in here that are not accepted, but they're not accepted and have dealt with the turmoil of not being accepted. And yet they're dating an alien and are not accepting this alien at this point. So it's like there's a lot of levels and a lot of going on in this book. You really got to pay attention. Really relevant for what's going on right now.
Mhm.
But it's aliens, like massive. There's a mothership, there's pods, and it's all like green, growy aliens. Like, here's aliens.
I'm enjoying Denise, who could, I don't know if you're a librarian, but you're pretty awesome. Just going through with the genres of that. It could be like horror, science fiction, dystopian.
It,
But it does sound like you've like mellowed a little bit.
it's the old age, man. I read a cozy mystery last week too that I really effing loved.
Oh my
I
God.
know, and that one was "Murder Takes a Vacation" by, was it Laura Lippman or whatever? Did you read that?
I didn't know. I've seen it at the library and it just looks so appealing.
It was good. It was really good. I'm reading this and I'm like, what am I reading? And I'm like, it's a murder mystery. This woman is like taken as a she becomes like a mule without realizing it.
Mhm.
And she just like does the best personality, is the greatest, and she's in Paris living her best life. And it just was such a cute book. I really liked it. I'm not getting soft. This was gory. Like they eat people and they regurgitate them back out. And like they live on, the aliens have to drink blood. So it's horror, damn it.
Okay. You don't have to convince me. Just because you had a little bit of a rut there doesn't mean that you are, it's not a horror, like hardcore horror. That's so fun. So, okay, I will send everybody the recommendations and the recap in a recap email. And Jody, always great to chat with you. Thanks everybody for being here and all of your help with this conversation. I appreciate it. Happy reading, everyone.